Hi everyone, Paul Morbid here, Morbid Team Entertainment and Bolex Repair Philippines. We're going to go through some additional functions of your Fujica ZC 1000, okay? So, when you're going to start filming, of course, you're going to have the film and the batteries loaded, okay, from part 1 of this. Set your variable fractional exposure control knob right here to 0. And for normal filming at 18, okay? Up here for the shutter, and this also goes to fade in and fade out. As you've seen before, you pull it with straight up, and to close it you would do that, but we don't want that. We want to bring this all the way back, set it to open, and push it in to lock it, as you may know. Alright? When this is set to lock, you want to set it to run right in the center. When you have batteries and you know the batteries are fresh and loaded properly, you'll hear an ignition inside of there, okay, that will turn on. And make sure you have it set to F down here, you know, to go forward, okay? Next for your shutter release button right here, what you want to do is look through the viewfinder at this point. Go ahead and aim it at your subject, what you want to film, and press it in about halfway. Okay, you'll see the red light, warning light, it'll go off. Okay, so that means everything's good and you're ready to film. If you got a problem, the light is going to stay on. You got bad batteries, something like that, always make sure you have new, fresh batteries when you're going to film. Okay? Now you could be saying to yourself, well, you know, testing this camera could be expensive due to the film. Well, you can get like maybe for $30 US some R25 Single-8, okay? And you can reload it with Kodak 100D is what you can do. You'll also have to know how to notch the setting on the back of the cartridge. However, other than that, what you can do is this, okay? You can test it by loading it in here, is what you can do. You can just load a little bit of film, as I've done, and just test the camera. You can look at one of my other videos I have on how to load film Single-8 into a Super 8 into a Single-8 cartridge. It's really easy to do. Okay? This way, when you go and test your camera, you're not going to be spending a lot of time, a lot of money wasting film. Okay? That's it. Now in that case, what I mean is the Kodak 100D is what you'll be filming with. What you can test the camera with is the old Single-8 you'll be pulling out. Okay? So you know you get to the end of a roll when it looks like this. Okay? It's got this little notch at the end of it. Right here. Okay? You see that? That's the end of a Single-8. Spool of film. This would be the size of it. Right here. So again, to be saving a lot of money, all this right here in my hand, this is Single-8 R25. So what I did, I removed it, and you can reload as much of this inside of this cartridge as much as you want to, or reverse it in there, okay, as much as you want to, and that will save on the cartridge and the film here that you sacrificed. When you're finished doing that, you can remove all this stuff right here and load in Kodak 100D, okay? But you've got to know how to make this notching system right here to accept it to 100D. when you're going to expose your shot one stop over, move your fractional exposure control knob to 2. This will set it at one stop over. To set your shot at 2 stops over, set the fractional exposure control knob to 4. Okay? Then via the viewfinder and by focusing, make sure your needle is set between positive and negative as much as possible. Alright, so to compose your shot and make sure you're going to get it smooth, you got to take this in and out lever right here. Okay, you need to set it right here where my pencil eraser is to matte. And to do that, take your finger, put it up in there, and switch it over just like that. Okay, so you see how that is. Okay, now you get that red dot over the mat. Look through the viewfinder and you're focusing. Ring screw, set it to your eyesight if it's not already set. Okay, then you can go to your lens and go ahead and set your shot. Make sure everything is clear. It's suggested to use the matte setting to make sure that everything is clear via the viewfinder and with focusing. Alright? Then we can set that back. Then compose your shot and ready to go. Okay, if you're just getting into filmmaking or if you're a film student, make sure your macro setting is just like so up here. Okay? You just pull this up just like that, and it's spring loaded, so you want to make sure it's not over to the side unless you're going to use it for that purpose. Okay, pull that back up, and actually you can just drop it down like that and you can feel it set back in when you put it down. So if it's back like this, when you bring it back into position normally, it's just going to slide back down inside. And for those of you who don't know, and film students, 18 frames a second, okay, is for normal filming. 24 is for faster moving objects. Alright, 36 and 72 is for slow motion. Okay, essentially, right there. And if you go all the way up to 1 right here, that is for single frame. Okay? And also remember that 36 frames per second and 72 frames per second can be used for filming fast objects as well. To get better quality images frame by frame for 36 and 72 frames per second, it is suggested to set the variable fractional control knob at 2 and the shutter lever at 2. To shoot at single frame, of course, go down to 1, just like so. Alright, and if you listen close when I press the shutter release on the front, you can hear it taken frame by frame. And then you set it back to normal 18. By turning the aperture control ring, you can move the needle in the viewfinder in the following positions. Normal exposure, 1 in the center, right here. 2, a third of a stop over, here. 3, 1 stop over, here. 4, a third of a stop under. Here. 5, 1 stop under. Here. Now, if you have just gotten a Fujica ZC 1000 and you've been testing it, playing around with it, and you've been looking at your frame counter, okay? So you've got it set on run, you've got it set on forward, and you press the shutter release button, and you notice the frame counter doesn't move. So not to worry if you're afraid. What you want to do is go up to the variable shutter lever right up here, pull it straight up, and this is when you want to count the number of frames. You just slide it right up to the S. Now I want you to watch at the end of my pencil eraser, the green dot is going to turn, it's going to turn to black. Turn this right up here at the S. Okay. Now you can watch your frame counter, and it's going to move. You can even lock this down, of course, if you wish. Alright? One thing to do, take note of on your frame counter, is if you keep this at S, the frame counter is going to keep moving. But your variable shutter lever, if you keep it and you take it and you move it back down to open, watch the frame counter. It's pretty much going to turn back to 0 or turn back to 0 completely. See there? There you go. And we're going to do fade ins and fade outs. To just slowly close it. Use about 4 seconds for the time that's used, and release your shutter release button. Alright? And that goes, and then when you start filming again, go back to open, and there you go again, maybe about 4 seconds again. So as far as the basic functions, that's it on the Fujica ZC 1000. There's so much more to go and do with it, so much more accessories and things that the camera has to offer. It is definitely my favorite of the 8mm cameras that are out there. The feel of it, the looking inside of the viewfinder, everything works and operates so smoothly, and I just simply love the camera, and hopefully you will too if you invest in one. Alright, do contact me at the social media outlets provided on the screen, and remember, as always, do subscribe. Check out all that Single-8 stuff. Until next time, see ya.